Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Autodesk Virtual Academy session. We actually have over 1,000 subscribers now, so welcome to those who are returning. And we actually had an Inventor What's New 2017 AVA a couple of weeks ago. If you did miss that, you can go ahead and view that on our YouTube channel. It was definitely one of the more popular AVA sessions, and today I think we're going to continue with that trend with the What's New in AutoCAD 2017 session. Today we have Michael Mizuno, who's the Senior Product Manager over at Autodesk in regards to this particular product. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
and let us know a little bit about yourself and go ahead and take it away.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah, so my name's Michael Mizuno, as Nigel mentioned already, and I'm a product manager with the AutoCAD product team. And what that means is that it's one of my responsibilities to be in constant contact with our users and to stay ahead of market trends, things that users want to have incorporated into our products. So it's a very rewarding job, and I get to talk to many of you throughout our entire release cycle. So with that, we'll kind of jump right into the presentation. I'm very excited to show you and talk about what's new in AutoCAD 2017. I'll take you through some of the new features, and at the very end we have a Q&A session set up, so as questions come in we'll be able to answer those as well. So I'm going to get into it right away. There's a ton of content here, so let's get going. So the goal of today's session is to explain some changes in the value delivery. We're in a very exciting time here at Autodesk. And we're working on a business model change. I'm going to turn off my video camera here. We're in a very exciting business model change where, as Nigel mentioned at the beginning, we're moving to the subscription delivery. And it's not just a business model change, it's also a new way for the product teams to work. And it's going to allow us to deliver incremental value. So instead of these big, huge releases every 12 months, we're going to be able to start delivering incremental improvements and bug fixes, whatever else it might be, in between those 12-month periods. And I'm also going to highlight some of the new features in 2017. So to kind of illustrate this change in value delivery, we're going to kind of compare it to some existing paradigms that are already out there. Things like the Google Play Store, the iOS, the Apple Store. Those are things that people are used to, where they simply get an update that is very kind of unobtrusive. You see a little red badge up there, you click and say go ahead and update, and you have either bug fixes, new functionality, enhancements to existing features. People are very used to kind of that paradigm, and that is consumer paradigm, but there's also a lot of benefits to kind of moving it to the professional software side of things. And then looking at Netflix, something like as a pay-as-you-go. So being able to basically turn AutoCAD, Inventor, any of the suites on or off as you need them, kind of scale up to kind of match the needs that you have as users. And always be connected to your data, thinking of a box paradigm, being connected to DWG files, Inventor files, everything else that you're working with, and be able to share those with people who may not even have that software and get comments and feedback from them. And then looking kind of cross-platform at mobile web experiences as well, making sure that those kind of make sense for the platform that they're working on and that they have a similar experience to the kind of the original desktop experience. And this slide just says, AutoCAD is definitely no exception to these paradigms that are kind of changing in our market. So looking at how we deliver the product today, everyone's used to, as I mentioned, these kind of 12-month large drops of new functionality in our products. And as you go along, we have these basically service packs that are really just defect fixes. There's no new enhancements. The new enhancements come kind of at every product release, which for AutoCAD has happened in March for the last however many years. The change in it is trying to make these large releases a little less disruptive. So extending that time between major releases. Right now, those major releases require you to uninstall the current version, reinstall the new one, and that's from what we've been hearing, very disruptive, and we know it's very disruptive. So what we want to do is to try to extend the time between those disruptive releases. That's kind of what we're calling them internally. Things that kind of make you stop your work, not focus on what you're actually doing, and have to do these kind of housekeeping type of functions. And in between as well, these blue dots are meant to show that we're going to be adding new value kind of incrementally as we go along. As we get more feedback, we may put a new feature out, we'll get some feedback on it, we'll go back and kind of reiterate, and hopefully be delivering these things to you more quickly. And this is the the start of it right now, and this is kind of a shift in the way the product team has been thinking, for 30 years. And so we're working on internally here, how do we make this so that we can deliver this at a more frequent cadence? And I think it'll be a lot better for our users to be able to see this in small chunks instead of these large ones every 12 months. So AutoCAD 2017, the kind of themes that we were working under were, let's find out ways that we can simplify the existing workflows. Find ways that we can connect our users to either other AutoCAD users or people that work on the projects with them who may not even be in the AutoCAD ecosystem or even in the Autodesk ecosystem. And ways that you can personalize AutoCAD. One of the things that we hear a lot of people will give us positive feedback around is the fact that they can customize AutoCAD either through vertical products that you add on top, on the mechanical manufacturing side, construction, wherever else it might be, or even just customizing the UI and features and functionality within the product. So we'll move into a quick demonstration and some of the themes around simplified. The first one here is a way to highlight new features. As we're incrementally adding new features, we want to be able to highlight them and give people information about how it may help them. So you'll get a tooltip. They'll say this is a new feature, give you the purpose behind it, and kind of highlight it in your UI. And you'll also see at the drop-down menus, you'll also see that badging kind of breadcrumb all the way there. And there is, of course, like anything in AutoCAD, a way to turn that highlighting on or off. 2D graphic system, one of the, in talking to our users, one of the themes that always comes up is performance around the graphics side. So anyone who's been following AutoCAD for the last couple of years, you've hopefully seen some of these improvements that we've been doing, and the GPUs, the hardware that is available on our users' systems, on your systems, has allowed us to start migrating some of the rendering of 2D entities and 3D entities to the GPU, giving us better visuals, smoother lines, smoother arcs, as well as better performance. So from AutoCAD 2014 to 2015, we added lines. We migrated the lines into the GPU and gave you smooth lines. AutoCAD 2016, you saw crisp arcs and circles. And here with AutoCAD 2017, I'll show you what we have here in a second. A lot of it is based on DirectX 11 technology, so if you don't have the latest driver version, you should update to get the full value out of AutoCAD 2017. So one of the first things is that when you're in this transient mode, moving items, you weren't seeing smooth lines, arcs, and circles. Polylines was the thing that we've added here in 2017. So here you can see this curve here, this polyline is not smooth. In 2017 it is. And it's not really just a visual. I will quickly pause this for a second. It is also something that allows you to be more accurate. If you're seeing something closer to what you're actually going to plot, it makes it easier for you to kind of move, copy, snap to when it's displayed more accurately. We also added line type rendering to the GPU. So here on the left-hand side, you can see, especially around the circles, a lot of jagginess. On AutoCAD 2017 on the right, you see it's a lot more refined. And as I mentioned before, it's not just only visual, but it's also performance. So 2D rendering, you should also be noticing that the performance is better. Gap selection. So what we also added is when you have gaps in your line types, you can also have a perpendicular snap in that case. So before you would not be able to snap to that location between the gaps. Now you can. In 2016 on the left, you also see hatches, parallel lines. You see gaps in those in AutoCAD 2016. They don't look perfectly parallel. GPUs allow us to kind of use a more accurate representation of those lines and get a better and smoother representation of, in this case, the red hatching. On the 3D side, when you're scrolling around, orbiting, panning, zooming, in 2016 we would degrade it down to a lower representation, basically wireframe. GPU allows us to kind of keep it in a higher representation for a lot longer before frames per second die down. So here on the left-hand side, 2016, you see it kind of degrading down to that wireframe a lot quicker. So you should see in 2017 great improvements on the graphics performance of both 2D and 3D. So we've also added some features very specific to certain industries. So it's my understanding that there's a lot of people on the manufacturing side and mechanical side of things here on today's call. Something we added this year is something called Smart Center Objects. And this allows you to simply pick, in this case, 2 lines to create a associated center line with it. And you can edit that center line by simply grabbing the grips, stretching them out, create a center mark on, let's say, holes in this instance by simply clicking on the hole. It'll create a associated center mark. Clicking on that center mark, you can change the extension lengths and do multiple different things with them. If you have dimensions off of those center line and center marks, they remain associated with that geometry. So if I were to go ahead and move this representation of the hole, the dimension will update, but also the center mark will follow along with it. You can associate a center line. If for some reason they get disassociated, you can reassociate it with any representation on your screen. So we've got a ton of great feedback from our manufacturing users on something like this. It was in a basically something where we track ideas from specific industries, and this was one of the top ones, so we added that in 2017. Along the connected theme, one of our other positive feedbacks ones for 2017 we're hearing a lot of chatter about, and great kudos, is the fact that we can now import PDFs. So if you have a PDF underlay, you can simply select the geometry that you want to bring in and convert to AutoCAD geometry. So in this case, all the lines, arcs, and circles, those all come through. So that's if it's a PDF underlay. You can also import an entire PDF. So here you see all the different pages that are in that PDF. You can set the scale, whether or not you want to bring in the text, whether or not you want to convert to vector geometry. And now this is something that you can take and edit just like any other AutoCAD entity. And here's the text that came through, and it's now an mText object if you need to edit that. And so, you know, again, like I said, a lot of great feedback on that PDF feature. Another one that we introduced in AutoCAD 2016 was something called the coordination model. This gives users the ability to bring in either Navisworks or BIM 360 features. So this is one specific to the construction industry. So here it connects directly to the BIM 360 service and allows you to bring in Navisworks models, which are a representation of many, many different file formats, Autodesk and even outside of Autodesk. So in this case, I'm designing and using AutoCAD geometry in context of a Navisworks model, which could come from Revit, could come from Inventor, could come from Bentley, could come from any of the file formats. Now, what we added in right before 2017 and kind of enhanced in 2017 is the ability to snap using AutoCAD snaps to the Navisworks geometry. So the stuff that's kind of gray here and even this pipe is Navisworks geometry. It's not AutoCAD geometry, but I can still snap to it and using any of the verticals or any of the AutoCAD commands create my geometry right in reference to that Navisworks model. So along the connected lines as well, we have something called Design Share. So one of the pieces of feedback that we heard in the last couple years is the desire to share drawings outside of the AutoCAD and Autodesk ecosystem. Someone who doesn't even have an app installed on their mobile device, on their desktop, they want to be able to see the DWG file and comment on it and give some kind of feedback to the original designer of it. So what we have in 2017 something called Design Share right in our ribbon. It allows you to publish your DWG file out to the internet. We use A360 Viewer to kind of enable that functionality, and upload your file and changes it into a representation for viewing on the web. It gives you a little notification in the bottom right hand corner that your model is ready to view, and when you bring it and you click on that and open it up in your browser, you see all the views that you created in AutoCAD, all the different layouts, all the layers are available for anyone to view, whether they have AutoCAD or not on their system. So all they need is an Autodesk ID, and they have access to your entire drawing, the representation that you choose to share with them. You can also embed a link by simply clicking up there. You can embed that in an email, post it on a website, whatever you want, and that link will be active for 30 days for someone to click on, and it'll take them to a website. They don't have to download anything. They have, through A360, the viewer available to them. And another one, kind of more specific to the manufacturing industry, is 3D printing. So we've had I would say, kind of a rudimentary workflow to create models and then send them out for 3D printing. All of our products like Inventor, Revit, AutoCAD have the ability to now connect to something called Print Studio. So it's an Autodesk product, but it's kind of a standalone product that's not embedded in each of the products. So AutoCAD connects to Print Studio, and I'll talk about some of the features and workflows that enable. So if you have a model inside of AutoCAD that you've designed, or even imported in through from other products like Inventor or Fusion, you simply select it and say, I'd like to print this. It brings up your 3D printing options if you want to do any scaling or change anything at that point, and then we'll send it out to Print Studio. If it's not installed already, it will say you need to install it, and it will take the users through, it'll take you through the installation. But it brings it into 3D Print Studio, which is another interface. It allows you to kind of scale it to whatever printer you're connected to, but it lets you repair it. So one thing you couldn't do in AutoCAD was if it wasn't watertight, you couldn't print it. And we wouldn't tell you where the problem was. Here, Print Studio shows you exactly where the problem is and has some features in there to let you fix it, make that watertight and ready to print. And at this point, you can export it out to many 3D printers on the market, most of them on the market, or directly connect to it from here and start printing right away. So along the personalized side of things, anyone who's already installed AutoCAD 2017 or any of our other 2017 products has probably seen the desktop app. So this, with the introduction of subscription for our products, this is a way for you to stay connected to the value outside of the product that we're also delivering. So in your tray, you see this Autodesk desktop app, and it shows you all the updates available for all the different products that are installed on your system, via Suite or even just point products. And in there, you also have other content like learning videos. These are existing things that are available to you today, but they're all linked to from one single spot here in the Autodesk desktop app. And as product teams start adding more learning tools or other options that they want to show to you, they'll start putting them here in this desktop app. You can also connect directly to your account portal. We'll show you all the products and services that you're entitled to. And in the future, there will also be enhancements to this to allow you to do other things. So it'll be updated kind of on a very frequent basis, and you'll see new enhancements to this kind of continually. Okay, so another piece, as I was talking at the very beginning with these disruptive updates that we had, one of the other pieces of feedback that we got was that migrating your settings and kind of setting up your AutoCAD environment is difficult. So as you go from AutoCAD 2015 to 2016 and 2016 to 2017, anything that you've customized, we have some tools in there to let you migrate the settings, but it was difficult, and people did not know what they had customized or what they could migrate. So we hoped to address that here in 2017. So here I have some customizations in AutoCAD 2016. My cursor, I have that large cursor that some people like. I've customized my quick access toolbar. I have the PDF export function. I've changed some of my command aliases. So CI is circle, C is copy. Here's the new migration interface. So everything that has color to it and that's not grayed out are things that have been customized by the user. Any different versions that you have on your system also show up in that drop-down menu. So I add back to AutoCAD 2014 on my system. So you can look through, see everything that has been customized, put a check mark beside what you'd like to migrate, hit the OK button, and go through the migration. And that's all you have to do. And when you open AutoCAD 2017, you'll see here in this case that my migrations have made it through. Oh, and one thing you'll also see here, this migration report, everything that made it through, and so you can kind of confirm what's made it over. So here now in AutoCAD 2017, you can see that my cursor came across, the tool palettes and blocks, my quick access toolbar, and my command aliases also came through. So hopefully we try to make it as easy as possible. As I said, we're committing to make those disruptive updates, those large kind of releases of software, less frequent in the future. But when they do come, we're also keeping in mind that you want to migrate your settings. So this is kind of our first step in helping improve the release migration. And then beyond that is the cross-platform story with AutoCAD. So we have connections to not only with AutoCAD in web and the mobile world, but also to Fusion 360. And when using Fusion 360 in the manufacturing world, the drawing component of that, creating your manufacturing drawings, the 2D representations, that is AutoCAD technology built inside of Fusion 360. So that story across all these different platforms is something that the AutoCAD team works very closely with many groups on kind of our expertise, that 2D documentation piece. So some of the recommended next steps, if you haven't downloaded or tried out AutoCAD 2017, please do. If you're on subscription, you're ready for it right now. You have full access to it. If you're not yet, you have a 30-day free trial to try it out and see if some of those features I highlighted and more that I wasn't able to highlight today are pertinent to what you're working on. And if you are not a subscriber, you can contact KETIV to become a subscriber. You'll see many enhancements coming out in the next few years with AutoCAD and many of the other products in the Autodesk portfolio. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Nigel for our Q&A session.
We have a couple that came in already. Let's start with this question from Ed. Is Print Studio an additional cost since it's a standalone product?
That's a great question. No, it's not. So we felt that that's kind of functionality that needs to be built into AutoCAD. So it is standalone, but if you do want the 3D printing functionality, it'll automatically install and it's not an extra cost.
Perfect. All right. And we have a question here from Fred, and Fred asks, is there a way to quickly convert point clouds?
So we have right now the Autodesk format, which is RCP, which works with our Recap and Recap 360 products. That's the format that AutoCAD can consume and view. If you want to do some conversions, you can download Recap or Recap Pro to do any kind of conversions. But right now, the AutoCAD software itself is standardized on the RCP file format. If you have other scanners with different formats, bring them into Recap first, and then convert them to RCP, and then you can view them inside of AutoCAD.
All right. Let's see here. Andrew, looks like a lot of questions are coming in. And Andrew Johnson asks, is there a new file type, or is it still AutoCAD 2013 DWGs?
We did not change the file type for AutoCAD 2017. We are kind of taking a different approach. I mean, I think some people set their clocks by every 3 years as changing the file format. We're only making those changes when we have to. So we want to, along the theme of making it less disruptive, we don't want to change those file formats unless we absolutely have to. So every year, with every release, we will reevaluate and make that decision. But 2017 has not had a file format change.
Great. Jeremy Burke asks, first mentions that the migration tool looks great and asks, how would this work migrating from 2014 AutoCAD to 2017 AutoCAD?
So it will work whatever customizations you have in 2014. If it's installed on your system at the same time as you install 2017, you'll see in that drop-down menu the option to migrate your settings from 2014, and you'll see things highlighted. So whatever's not gray, those are things that you had customized in 2014 are available for you to migrate to 2017. So it will work, in short.
Great. And Randy asks, is AutoCAD Electrical 2017 also available and include these new features?
It does. So I'm trying to think if there's anything in here that the vertical products did not consume. As far as I know, everything that is in here that you saw today is available with AutoCAD Electrical.
And I assume that would be the same thing would go for mechanical as well.
It would go for all the AutoCAD vertical products. So the way it works internally, the AutoCAD team adds these functions in. The vertical team gets a chance to look at them and see if there's anything that they need to either modify, turn off, or change in certain ways, and then they release their products, which are typically about a month after the AutoCAD release. So in April here, you should be seeing and already have seen some of the vertical products come out. Everything you saw today is available in those products.
Great. And it looks like we have one other question from Jack, and Jack asks, where do I install this, and how do I go about installing 2017? So actually, I can answer this question. Next week, actually, on the 5th of May, Jose Paredes, who's one of our application engineers here at KETIV, is doing an ABA session on the entire process from after you purchase your software to the point in which you can start working. So if you definitely want to come and see that, same time next week, 10 o'clock, Jose will be doing that as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Does anyone have any last-minute questions? I'll go ahead and leave this open for a little bit. Okay. So Jorg, our friend from Germany, asks, when you migrate your settings from an older version, will there be a point to roll it back? And if not, if it's not what you want?
So there's the ability to reset to like factory settings. Right now, there's not the option within the UI to roll it back. But if you back up your settings through the export command that's available in the program folders, you can export that, back it up somewhere else, and always revert back to it. But within the UI, there's not a way to roll back.
Christian is asking, I'm having issues with AM views displaying correctly when opened in 2017. Some views are missing, some don't display all the parts in the view. That might be a specific question in regards to your particular file, Christian. You can definitely ask us at Lifeline. Give us a call, and we can definitely take a look at that for you if it's a specific issue to your particular drawing. And Michael asks, will AutoCAD 2017 work better with SCCM this year? Past deployments have been troublesome with Windows because file and folder names are too long.
We haven't changed anything that would make kind of mass deployment any different than 2016, but would be interested to talk to you about some of those because we are considering some of that for our future releases. So we did talk to actually a lot of CAD managers in the last year, and that was one of the items that did come up, but we were not able to change for 2017.
Great.
So yeah, get in touch with Nigel, and he can get you in touch with me, and we can talk a little bit more.
Yeah, so you can definitely just mention that in the post-webinar survey, and then I'll get you into contact with Mike, and he can definitely take care of you from there. David asks, migrating templates and keeping old for prior versions available. So I think it's the same thing in regards to the new migrate feature that you have.
So we can migrate from older versions, but I'm maybe also interpreting that question as like leaving the ability for you to have access to a few versions back. So maybe, it's my interpretation, the subscription does give you the entitlement to download older versions of AutoCAD up to a certain point. And I think it's 3 years right now, but that is part of the subscription service.
All right, we'll do. And yeah, for those of you who are on maintenance, 2017 is available on release, which happened a couple of weeks ago, actually, and you do have access to use 17 and the 3 prior versions, so 16, 15, and 14. So if you don't want to move to 2017 yet, or if you want to know whether or not you have access to it, that's another way to figure that out. And let's see. I think that's all the questions that we have now. If you do have more that you think of after this session, you can ask them in the survey, and we'll definitely get in touch with you in regards to answering those. Even if they're not related to AutoCAD, if you have any other issues with your Autodesk products, the Lifeline team here at KETIV will definitely take care of you. So I think we're good on that. If you can move to the next slide, Mike.
Okay.
So just letting you guys know, you can follow us on social media. We post all of our updates there, whether they be new blog posts, new YouTube videos, or anything interesting that we find in relation to Autodesk products and maybe some cool projects other people are working on. We post those as well. So yeah, go ahead and follow any of these links. If you have any questions, let us know at the end, and we should be good to go. So thank you again, Michael, for helping us through this, and definitely be excited to see what's new in 2018 next year.
Great. Thank you for having me.
All right. See y'all later. Have a great day.
Goodbye.